take you live to Ross Greenwood now. He's our business editor. We're going to look at the markets because the market has opened now 40 minutes ago. What's the ASX looking like after this announcement, Ross?
Look, Laura, it's been smashed. Fair and simple. It's been hit hard, and so have overseas markets as well. In the short time that the market's been open here, somewhere between $50 and $60 billion has been wiped off the value of Australian shares. The index at the moment, you can see down around about 2%, and you can see immediately on the opening after Donald Trump's statement today, the share market has fallen pretty heavily. We can show you also what's happened in parts of the world overseas. These are futures markets that continue to trade after hours in America. You can see the Dow Jones index of US shares. The futures markets is down 2.4%. The broader market, though, even hurt more, but down by 3.5%. It's a big fall. And if we go even across into Asian markets, we'll see the openings of those in the next few hours. And when we do, again, we'll see the impact of places such as Vietnam and Cambodia that have been smashed with massive tariffs by Donald Trump today. But that's the Japanese stock market as we speak. If we go a little bit further forward for you, I can show you the immediate impact of Donald Trump's statement on the Australian dollar. If we have a little look at this, look at that. There's the announcement from Donald Trump earlier this morning. It got down around about 62 US cents. It has fought its way back a little bit, but still lower than it has been over the last period of time. The other thing that has also changed, because if you have tariffs, you have increasing prices, particularly in America, which could lead to inflation. And as a result of that, the gold price, which is already at record levels, has jumped even higher today, up by around 0.8%, $26. So the Australian dollar set new marks in Australia just in the last couple of days, above $5,000 Australian. It's now well above that. So, Laura, the impact of Donald Trump's statement today on these tariffs has been absolutely immediate. There is no doubt.
Yeah, it looks like it, Ross. So, I mean, once the dust settles a bit, do you expect markets to settle? I mean, let's look at this from Australia's perspective. Is it true that Australia has got off as lightly as possible compared to our nearest competitors on beef? It's a 10% tariff. It's not great, but if all our competitors have the same tariff or a little bit higher, does that mean that parochially, our producers will be better off anyway? It just means that, as David Littleproud put it, the price of a Big Mac might go up.
Now, you've got to think about this a lot more broadly than that, and that is what happens in America affects what happens in Australia. So if America's economy does fall as a result of either higher interest rates and or higher inflation as a result, because remember that Donald Trump's strategy is to build a whole lot of plants in America to basically bring manufacturing jobs back into the United States and make it a global power. So as a result of that, it takes time. So there is going to be immediate impacts that will affect the cost of living in America, and that will potentially increase the risk of recession in America and therefore a global recession. That's what markets are reacting to. These are the big exports from Australia to the United States. You can see meat, $4 billion, coins and metals, $2 billion, pharmaceuticals, about $1.4 billion, optical and medical, which includes things such as the cochlear ear implant going out to America, but also on top of that, blood products from CSL and machinery at $1.2 billion. And what I'll do is move forward, Laura, and show you what's happened on the stock market today to individual companies. So there's been some big movements on the market today. So here are some of those that are affected. AACo, Australian Agriculture, Australia's biggest meat exporter to the United States. Its share price is down almost 4%, you can see there. CSL, the blood products company, does sell to America. Its shares down 1.5%, so pretty much going with the market. But have a look at Cochlear, which manufactures here and sells overseas. Its shares down more than 3.6% as we speak. And then BHP and Fortescue, big iron ore miners, they get affected by the demand for steel in the future. So there's some of the big fallers. There's a couple of increases, though, that I want to show you. Oh, here's a couple of other companies that have just popped out. Ansell, which obviously makes rubber gloves and a range of other products that are sold from Australia to America, down more than 10%. ARB, it sells bull bars into the American market on vehicles, down 6%. Breville makes coffee machines that get sold to America, down 8%. If we go now to some of those, only a couple of winners today. This one here, Dyno Nobel, one of the world's largest explosive companies based in America, basically also is manufacturing in America. Its shares up more than 3%. And if we go one more stock that we spotted today that's been a little bit better, and that one was Austal. Austal shares also higher, shipbuilding company for defence and has big operations in America. So the broad story is that American the companies that basically build here and sell to America have been affected. Those that already have plants in America broadly have done better, Laura.
Interesting indeed, Ross. It's going to be a wild ride from here on in, isn't it? This is just the start of 4 years of Donald Trump 2.0. Before I let you go, of course, we are in the middle of an election campaign, and both leaders will want to try and take control of this narrative, pretend that they are the leader to stabilise or at least get in the ear of Donald Trump. But when it comes to the tariffs and what Donald Trump is imposing and promising and threatening, what is the best thing our leaders can do? What should they be promising on this election campaign?
My suggestion is the best thing for either political party, and certainly for the leaders, is to say nothing. Australia got off scot-free. And so from that point of view, to push Donald Trump to try and urge for something else, I think is probably foolhardy for either political leader. At the end of the day, Donald Trump will do what Donald Trump does, and compared with many of our neighbours, Australia has broadly got out with the lowest tariffs around the place. And perhaps Australia will be impacted by more goods coming in from places like Cambodia, Vietnam and China. And we've got to be very careful in this country that we don't suddenly find dump goods also affecting Australian jobs and Australian manufacturers.
Ross, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking us through that. Appreciate it.